Hello, everybody. I'm Georgia Fotiago, and in this screencast, I will discuss how language autobiography can be used to raise language awareness and promote the plurilingual and pluricultural competence. This material has been jointly prepared by Evangelia Moussouri and myself at the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. In this clip, I will start by arguing the importance of language awareness and plurilingual and pluricultural competence. I will next present what is language autobiography, and I will provide a summary of the Erasmus Plus project IRIS. Then I will describe how language autobiography can be used in monolingual and multilingual classes and summarize the screencast. Teachers' representations of languages and cultures have an impact on the implementation of appropriate didactic approaches. Reflective writing can lead teachers to a change in practices and to the development of professional skills. Bringing out memories or actions in written form promotes the person's reflection by revealing a reflexive discourse, a self-explanation much richer and more informative than the collection of simple subjective reminiscences. This personal reflection and self-confrontation with their own history, as well as with their capital, linguistic, cultural, and other, leads the trainees to new paths of knowledge. It should also be pointed out that reflection is also social, since it is part of and emerges from social interactions, cooperation, decision-making, supervision, etc. Besides, the development of plural competencies among language teachers will enable them to exploit their own language biography with the aim of becoming aware of their plurilingualism, pluriculturalism, identifying their language trajectory and their language representations, which may influence the learning process to value and exploit the linguistic and cultural capital of their pupils, and thus facilitate language appropriation from a pluralistic and inclusive perspective. It will also enable them to exploit the linguistic biography of their pupils with the aim of helping them to identify their own needs and learning objectives, to assess their learning path, to become aware of their plurilingualism and pluriculturalism, to deconstruct and reconstruct their representations on languages, thus facilitating language appropriation and openness to the other. What is language autobiography? It can be carried out in written, oral, or drawn form. It can refer to the individual's past so that they reflect on their experiences and on the events that created their representations. How did they learn the languages that are part of their language repertoire? What were the significant events in their lives that led them to learn these languages? It can also refer to the individual's present so that they become aware of their own plurilingualism. With which languages are they in contact? What are their language practices? And finally, it can refer to the individual's future so that they reflect on their learning process and to what extent they could benefit from this introspection and retrospection to learn a language. To what extent do they practice the languages of their language repertoire? What learning strategies do they use to learn a language? A guiding and very helping tool has been conceived and developed by the Council of Europe in parallel with the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. The European Language Portfolio allows users to record their experience of learning languages and to assess their language learning achievements. It includes a language passport, which presents a regularly updated overview of the owner's linguistic profile, a language biography, which helps the owner to reflect on his or her language learning and language views, and a space for collecting samples of work achievements and his or her intercultural experience. In the site, we can find accredited and registered by the Council of Europe ELPs for the period 2000-2014, and ideas and tools to support its use. 5 universities, 3 associations, and a formation center from Italy, Greece, France, Sweden, Romania, and Austria gathered to prepare helping material for ICE, identifying and reconstructing individual language stories. The project is centered on teacher training, It proposes building tools that improve the skills of teachers and educators working in multicultural contexts, that enable them to enhance the multilingualism of their learners and make their relationship with the host environment more positive and inclusive, and that cultivate the skills that need to be improved or acquired, as are the storytelling, self-reflection skills, and digital competence. It includes a Moodle platform for online training on demand and 4 booklets, a needs analysis from the 6 partner countries, a compendium with a set of 15 worksheets with ready-to-use teaching material, an ontology which brings together creations of primary school, senior high school learners, teachers in initial and continuous training and trainers from the experiencing phase, and a set of recommendations with the lessons learned from the piloting of materials produced or used within the framework of the IRIS project. We, as educators, need first to encounter our own attitudes and the strategies we adopt when we learn or teach languages. The following comes from training sessions run by the group Pluralité at the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. So, how much do we identify ourselves in this testimonial? I'm not speaking Albanian at all. Besides, I don't know if the kids would have liked me to talk in class about their origin. It's a tricky question. And what about the children? Do they value their language capital? The 7-year-old child considers a waste of time to invest in Greek as a new entry in his language repertoire. Are we ready to lead a similar discussion in class or in a forum to encourage students to express themselves on their relationships with languages, their language, cultural, and intercultural experiences, as well as their learning path? Or do we consider this a sensitive topic that requires discreetness? We believe that students often avoid referring to their own languages, and that's a bit complicated. For language autobiography to be effective in the formative process, it is necessary to have as clear as possible a prior contract between the formative subject, individual or collective, and the forming subject, also individual or collective. To prepare, we can use a wide range of activities that bring out language and cultural representations that encourage reflexivity in relation to plurilingualism, pluriculturalism, and methodological practices adopted during the teaching and learning process. Triggered documents that can be used to this purpose are articles, videos, online conferences, reflective drawings, or extracts from literary texts, to name a few. Besides, reading and discussion of language autobiography texts produced by others can be found in the IRIS Ontology booklet. It's a long path preparing individuals to see their plurilingual and pluricultural capital. Literary texts can help toward this direction. Besides, we can organize storytelling and music events in collaboration with parents and explore tales and rhythms from around the world, some of which may sound familiar to the audience. Children are meant to play, so games from different countries can also help trainees to find their way to roots and openness. Moreover, creating boards with the rules is a wonderful idea to cultivate one's writing skills. Activities such as the preparation of easy recipes from different countries, the creation of a recipe book, the organization of a dance event after having learned the dances of the countries of origin are also good candidates. Another Erasmus project, The Finds Stories, can serve as an inspiration to use arts and technologies. In fact, it addresses the impact of mobility through people and object biographies. The idea behind it is that during movement, we interact with objects. Mobility leaves traces on this interaction. So a visit to a museum or an invitation to the children to bring an object of their choice can serve as a trigger to produce a narrative of the object story. Acting a scene with the object as a protagonist can also help to this. Final note with respect to reflective drawing, which is a tool for the emergence of learners' language biographies. It raises awareness of their representations of languages and cultures, as well as their linguistic and cultural practices. It encourages reflexivity and constructing of new representations. Observe the reflective drawings made by elementary and secondary students. Try to interpret them. Try to find correspondences between these drawings and the language practices of your pupils. Would you use a similar activity in your classes? Would the participants benefit from it? Take some time to read why this person made the specific choices of colors and shapes to draw their linguistic profile. Go back in the other drawings, observe them carefully. Visit also the IRIS project site to view more reflective drawings in the ontology booklet and use them in class. Then we can invite our students to create their own reflective drawing or design the whole group's language repertoires. We may also use templates as these ones or leave the children's imagination drive their creations. After this trip to languages, we can invite them to write, narrate, or create a video of their language autobiography. For the final phase, appropriation in this linguistic framework is not limited to the observation of putting oneself in the place of others, but goes beyond the situation by confronting otherness. These approaches constitute formative dimensions since they lead not only to a transformation of oneself, but also to a transformation of others that takes place in the encounter. In this screencast, I started by arguing the importance of language awareness and plurilingual and pluricultural competence. I next presented what is language autobiography and what is included in the site of the project IRIS. Finally, I discussed the steps to create a language autobiography, starting with introspection and moving to activities that raise awareness of one's plurilingualism and pluriculturalism. And I summarized the group.